Today, we're going to learn about shadowing so that you can use it to improve your English.
Today, we're going to learn about shadowing so that you can use it to improve your English. That is not shadowing. That is just listening and repeating.
Today, we're going
Today,
to
we're
learn
going
about
to learn
shadowing
about
so that
shadowing
you
so
can
that
use
you
it
can
to
use it to
improve your
improve your
English.
English. That is shadowing. And both of these activities are useful. However, it's important to understand the difference between them because we use them to train very different skills. I'm Teacher Mike, and today we're going to talk about what shadowing actually is and how to decide which one is best for you, shadowing or just listening and repeating. Also, at the end of this video, I'm going to link you to another video that you can use to practice shadowing. Now, first things first, what was the difference between the two things that I did at the beginning of this video? Let's take another look.
Today, we're going to learn about shadowing so that you can use it to improve your English.
Today, we're going to learn about shadowing so that you can use it to improve your English. There, I listened to the sentence, waited for it to finish, and then repeated it. That is listen and repeat practice. Now for the second one.
Today, we're going
Today,
to
we're
learn
going
about
to learn
shadowing
about
so that
shadowing
you
so
can
that
use
you
it
can
to
use it to
improve your
improve
English.
your English. In that one, I didn't wait for the sentence to finish before I started speaking. And that is shadowing. The problem is that many teachers call both of these activities shadowing, even though traditional shadowing is very different from just listening and repeating. With listen and repeat practice, you listen to something, stop, and then try to repeat it to yourself. And you'll actually often pause the audio so that you have time to repeat the whole sentence before the next sentence starts. This allows you to listen carefully and mentally prepare yourself before speaking. It also allows you to repeat a sentence multiple times so that you can really focus on pronouncing it well. This makes listen and repeat practice especially useful for improving pronunciation, memorizing new phrases, and practicing phrases that you might already know but not be very confident saying out loud. And if your goal is to speak more clearly or memorize useful sentence patterns, this is a really good way to practice. Now, what about shadowing? In traditional shadowing, you don't wait for the speaker to complete their sentence. Instead, while they're on the second or third word of the sentence, you're already repeating the first word. You're basically speaking on top of their sentence, maybe just one or two words behind. This is why it's called shadowing. Your shadow is something that is there with you, not something that appears after you leave. And this means that you're listening and speaking at basically the same time, which makes this a lot more difficult than just listening and repeating. This is why shadowing is generally considered a more advanced way of practicing. With listen and repeat practice, you have time to stop, think, and focus on accuracy. With shadowing, you don't have that time. This means that with shadowing, you have to repeat each word and phrase almost immediately without mentally preparing yourself. The reason this is good is that it pushes you to speak in a manner very similar to the other speaker. Because when trying not to fall too far behind them, you naturally start copying their speed, rhythm, and intonation. And you do all of this without really thinking about it too much. The result is that when you do this often, speaking in a more natural manner can start to feel more automatic. It's also why shadowing can be so useful for building confidence, especially if you're using something that you've already listened to one or two times. When you've already listened to something before, the other speaker is more like someone running beside you, not someone running in front of you who you are following from behind. Doing it this way, the other speaker's role is mostly just to keep you on the correct path by reminding you of the speed and rhythm of the words. But you're not really relying on them to remind you what the words are. In fact, because you've already listened to it once or twice, you'll often already know what comes next and not need to listen so carefully in order to know what to say. This helps you get used to saying full sentences in real time without having to create them yourself and without translating. And over time, this can make it a lot easier to speak full sentences out loud without first mentally preparing yourself, and without freezing. And although the other benefits have more research behind them, this is actually the one that I think makes shadowing so useful. Is it necessary to use shadowing? No, it's not. However, if you're someone who struggles with connected speech, rhythm, or intonation when speaking full sentences, you might find it really useful. So, if you want to try shadowing, here is what I would do. First, find a piece of audio that's clear and not too fast. For example, an audiobook or a YouTube tutorial. Then, listen to it once or twice before you actually shadow it. That way, you understand the meaning before you start trying to copy the speaker's rhythm and speed. Then, play the audio a third time. This time, try to speak along with it, remembering that you'll probably be 1 or 2 words behind the speaker. And remember, don't stop after each sentence. Try to keep going. And don't worry about saying everything perfectly. You're going to make some mistakes. That's fine. Keep going. Because remember, shadowing is not really about perfection. It's mainly about training your brain and mouth to follow the connected speech, speed, and rhythm of English in real time. And finally, don't forget that lots of teachers say shadowing when they really mean listen and repeat practice, which is something very different. So, anytime you hear a teacher talk about shadowing, I want you to stop and think about what the goal actually is. Are they talking about improving your ability to memorize and pronounce individual words and phrases? Or are they talking about your ability to speak at a natural speed without thinking too much? Because if it's the first one, they might actually just want you to do listen and repeat practice. Now, let's try some shadowing with this video right here.